Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be all the rest of my Daredevil videos. It'll be episodes 7 through the finale, so just careful for spoilers if you have not seen Daredevil Season 2 yet. Really starting with the trial of the Punisher, which is kind of what picks up in episode 7. Through the rest of the series, it's all about Elektra in the Hand. They basically set the Punisher up, and now the task is weaving in some of the heavy mythology, like what's going on with Black Sky, the mystery behind that, as well as reintroducing the Kingpin character. So happy that he's back. It's not a season of Daredevil without the Kingpin. There are definitely some really big moments throughout that you can feel where they're seeding stories for Daredevil Seasons 3 and going forward. Like the Kingpin, for instance, comes roaring back to life in the narrative. Like, the minute I get out of here, I am coming to hunt you down. I'm going to destroy you. That is comic book Kingpin right there. The way he manipulates the situation so that when he does walk out of jail, the city will just be sitting there for him to take. He does the clever thing of unleashing the Punisher on his competition, killing two birds with one stone. Daredevil finally gets his retractable billy club from the comics, which is badass. And we gotta talk a lot about Elektra. I know a lot of you were confused about the whole Black Sky twist. In the comics, both Daredevil and Elektra have been a part of the Hand as well as a part of the chase. They've jumped back and forth at various points depending on which storyline you're in. The funniest thing I've heard about Season 2 so far is that people are worried because of all this Black Sky Electric stuff that the Defenders Team-Up series is building towards a Shadowland storyline. And people were really horrified by the idea of that because Shadowland wasn't that great of a story in the comics. But just to explain that comic book Easter egg, because they kind of weave that in with the Elektra storyline, the Black Sky. Black Sky equals the beast of the comics, the beast that the Hand worships, where they gain their power and their mastery over death. Imagine the Hand raising a demon using Elektra. That's kind of what's going on. They're going to resurrect her, and she will be fully possessed. She'll be the evil Elektra that you may have seen from the comics. But also in the comics, during the Shadowland series, they suspected that Daredevil himself had been possessed by the Beast because he starts killing people. He starts doing things more like the Punisher. It remains to be seen, but Elektra will continue to be a big force in the Daredevil universe. There's no way that she's going to stay dead. A lot of people were disappointed that she didn't get killed by Bullseye, which is how she dies the first time in the comics, but she does end up coming back, so as much as they change from the comics, they are still doing a lot of comic book things. Easter eggs though, I think I've already talked a little bit about the trial of the Punisher. He is on trial. Mark Guggenheim, who is the showrunner for Arrow and also writes a lot of Marvel comics, including Punisher comics, one of those was a storyline called The Trial of the Punisher. Several characters keep repeating the phrase Warzone. It's a war zone out there, just a reference to Punisher Warzone, the comic book title. Punisher going to jail is a nice reference to Punisher Max, where he actually gets locked up in prison. Stick starts to explain the chase, and even though the way he explains it on the TV show is different from the way it's presented in the comic books, they were first introduced in Daredevil 187. It was a Frank Miller invention, and it's much more ancient than what Stick makes out. He makes it sound like he's also Master of Death, like he's this ancient person. It's really meant to be kind of ambiguous, so you could choose to believe that Stick really is the chased person, like the original creator of the chased order. But that's just Daredevil wading into mysticism, which I think it will really double down on during Iron Fist. Once we get to that series, you'll really see magic in the TV universe, or at least as close as we'll get to magic. When Karen Page is at the newspaper, a lot of the headlines you will see refer to other things that have happened in the Marvel universe, like the Battle of New York. There's a headline that says Cybertech settles. That's the company on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that built Deathlock. We get to see Madame Gao again, who's going to be a huge thing during the Iron Fist series. If you're not really familiar with Iron Fist characters, the one that she seems like is Crane Mother, who's kind of attached to this evil version of Iron Fist. The villains of Iron Fist we can talk about a little bit more when we get closer to that series. Punisher finally gets his comic book costume after he takes down the blacksmith, who winds up being his old military commander. If you were confused about what happened with Punisher's family and how the blacksmith was responsible for it, he just took over the drug trade by having all these gangs take down each other, and Punisher's family was collateral damage. The blacksmith did not kill his family on purpose. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. More Jessica Jones Easter eggs. Jaren Hogarth shows up to offer Foggy a job, which he accepts, so now we're definitely connected to the Jessica Jones series if we weren't before. And a lot of you have asked me about the drive that the Punisher pulled out of his house before he blew it up. Think of that the way you would think of the list on Arrow, just information on people doing really bad things that Punisher is going to go after. Because they're connecting all these series, remember during Jessica Jones, the Stars and Stripes character would take those pills. There was a secret company that was using them, testing them on military personnel. Don't be surprised if Punisher starts to intersect with those types of characters because they came out of the military. Punisher's a military person. So by the time we get to Defenders, all these big shadow organizations will start to make a little more sense. There's that other company that gave Jessica Jones and Kilgrave their powers. They'll probably get involved. But the stars of Daredevil, just the Daredevil actors, have talked about things that they would like to do in seasons 3 and 4, which include Bullseye, more comic book characters. So Daredevil just by itself will probably continue. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a full 5 seasons, maybe beyond that. A lot of that will just depend on how long the actors want to keep doing it. But the other last big Easter egg, after they tease that they're going to be bringing Elektra back from the dead, or fully possessed by the Beast, is the Luke Cage trailer. Luke Cage is dropping September 30th, so it's actually coming pretty soon. I've already done a video on that, so I'll put a link for it in the description. But let me know, what did you guys think of Daredevil Season 2 overall? It was a great series. They did try to cram in that romance with Karen Page just to create some tension when Elektra came along, so there were a few unnecessary things that they jammed in, but Punisher was amazing. Can't wait to see more of him. He definitely needs his own spin-off series. Hand vs. Chase was pretty intriguing. Stick, totally loved the way he took down Nobu at the end. Stay down this time, asshole. And I know a lot of you have asked about Jessica Jones Season 2. They haven't started shooting that yet, but they have started writing it. So it will happen, but we probably won't see it till next year. There is new Legends of Tomorrow tonight. There's a bunch of Jonah Hex stuff, so I'll try to address that when I post that video later. While you guys wait for that, you can click here for that Luke Cage trailer, and you can click here for the last Civil War trailer I just posted. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.